Hi Lisa, I am giving you feedback again on your PowerPoint. First slide looks great, wouldn't change anything. Second slide also perfect. Third slide, I would say reduce some of the phrases, like you could cut the 65 and older to 65 plus. I think that's all to change on this slide. On this slide, you could reduce, I took some verbiage out of self-efficacy, and you could put just trained OTs instead of occupational therapist. The rest I think is fine. Next slide, no changes. This slide, not sure I would have you change anything on that either. This slide, I would probably either take out the names or put a citation in all of them. But I think it might look better if you remove the names. You can still say them, but you don't necessarily have to have them on the slide. This slide looks good. One of the things I would recommend is you've got maybe 3 or 4 types of bullet points in the slides. So I would switch them all to the same thing, whether that's this kind or whichever bullets you choose to do. I would make them consistent throughout the presentation. This slide looks good. This slide looks good. All right. I think you could take out the developed with AOTA because you already have cited AOTA there. This looks good. You could change the 16 into the number 16 on both of these, and I'm not sure there's anything else you can cut out. I know it looks a little busy, but well, you could put plus for or higher, and let's see, and older you could put plus, and that looks good. Pre and post test. Oops, sorry, the same one. There we go. This looks good. If you could do a space and a half between some of these, spread out a little bit more maybe, or leave it as it is. Either one of them's fine. This looks good. We'll have to talk. You cannot have the Pearson and the Wilcoxon, so we'll have to decide on one or the other. And since you did a t-test, which is parametric, you'll probably have to stick with the Pearson, which is parametric, and not do the non-parametric, but we need to talk about that. All right, this looks good. Again, decide on which bullet points and make them all the same. This looks great. I think it's a great visual. On this one, I would line up, like I line this up with the right margin. I think that's good to be centered, but the other ones I think I would line up with either the right margin or the left margin. Probably this one, the right margin, and probably this the right margin, this maybe the left margin. And then we'll talk about, well, we'll talk about whether you even need this slide. This looks great. It's interesting that you only have one strong correlation. I think this would qualify as a moderate correlation. Anything over, I think it was between 0.30 and 0.50 is a moderate correlation. So we'll look at those again. Leave this the way it is. This looks good. This one I'm a little concerned about because the statistics are so close. So I think it would be more correct to say that they were very similar instead of saying one was more than the other. Everything else looks good. And this one looks good. Some of this you may do more phrases like 2 or more previous falls, higher home modifications compared to 1 previous fall. Instead of making it full sentences, just make it more phrases, but people still get the gist of what you're trying to say. All right, this looks great. This looks good. And your references are fine, so well on your way.